Hi guys, today we're going to show you how to make cupcakes that look like the Cookie Monster. Okay, so the first step is taking a big cupcake and a little cupcake, and you're going to want to stick the little one on top of the big one like that. And to stick it, you just use some plain coloured buttercream icing like that, and then just blob a bit on the cake. And stick the little cupcake on top. Okay, so the next step is using the same plain coloured buttercream icing. You're going to pipe, just roughly, it doesn't really matter what it looks like, pipe round the two cakes, like this. Okay, and now you're going to need to put that in the fridge for about 15 minutes. So when your cupcake is out of the fridge, you're going to need to take a palette knife and smooth the icing out. So just like this. So once you're done, the cupcake should look like this. It doesn't matter if it's not neat because you're going to cover it all up with decoration, but yeah, it should look kind of like this, kind of like an ice cream scoop. The next step is to take the same palette knife, and you're going to need to make an incision into the cake to kind of act as where the mouth is going to be, where you're going to put the cookie. So figure out which area you want to be the front of your cake, and then just probably kind of on a downward slope as well. Okay, so your cake should now look like this. The next step is to take your cookie, next step is to insert your cookie into the mouth of the Cookie Monster. So make sure you buy a cookie that's the right kind of size. I use the Maryland ones because they seem to be in the right size. So you just insert it in the mouth, make sure you don't mess it up. The next step is getting some blue coloured buttercream icing and piping it onto the cupcake to look like the Cookie Monster's hair. In order to get like a hair effect, you're going to need one of the tips that kind of looks like this. That kind of has the kind of little holes in it. Okay, and the way to pipe icing to make it look like kind of like a hair effect, you're going to want to put some pressure down onto your piping bag and put a little bit of icing on, and then sharply draw up. And you see you kind of get that hair effect. Okay, so you need to do that all over the cupcake and around the cookie as well. Okay, so when you're done piping that technique, it's starting to look a little bit more like the Cookie Monster. So the last step is to make the eyes. I'm going to use two Wilton's Candy Melts, the white kind, and then I'm going to pipe some black icing onto it to make the pupils. You don't need to use Candy Melts if you can't get hold of these. You can use just kind of like giant white chocolate buttons. Okay, so the last step now you've done the eyes is just to place the eyes just on top of the cupcake. And you've got to be quite careful when you do this and make sure you're getting the angle right. here. So there you have it, your Cookie Monster cupcake, all finished.